just up at All Saints Church in Langport before I go shopping. Walked up the hill. Couldn't run it today, just felt too tiring. But just had a nice little run of meeting very pleasant, very nice-natured people, one in a shop and then just one out as I just came into the church. It happens sometimes, doesn't it? You meet one after the other and people, you think, oh, they're really nice. Friendly and a very nice sort of nature, and kind of you can think, oh, the world's all right. And then some days you get the opposite. But just coming into this church is beautiful. The light's different now that it's September. And the quality of the air is different. And the nights are drawing in. I mean, reading this book about the Second World War, well, it was written in the Second World War, a kind of diary called Home Front, about what was going on in the country and among civilians and servicemen as well. And some aspects of politics, but more what's going on the ground. So I think I might do a few recordings from this book. It's a diary of 1942 and 1943, and it was published actually in 1944, so it was published in the war. So it's really, really contemporary to the war itself rather than written afterwards. So I think I'll do a few recordings from that. It's the old eagle. It's very still in here, apart from me talking. I seem to be watching quite a few videos about Christianity and Catholicism and the kind of the bit of the struggles that different aspects of it are having with each other, or that they don't feel that the right messages are going out. I mean, I'm agnostic, I suppose. I've always called myself agnostic, which I've always thought meant that you just don't know. That's where I'm at, really. But I kind of seem to find it interesting watching these people. There's a channel called Catholic Unscripted, and that's quite a good channel. And it has a number of people on it. One of them is Gavin Ashenden, who was a Queen's chaplain at one time, but then he became a Catholic. He sort of switched a few years back, or however many years back. He's also got a really good channel called Ashenden Unscripted. Ashenden, that's Ashenden, Unscripted. But he's a really interesting guy. He talks about a whole range of subjects about what's going on in the world today, and sort of bringing in a sort of his faith perspective to it. But another article came out yesterday by Sarah Napton in the Telegraph about the Royal Statistical Society meeting that was held on Thursday, and it's to do with the chart that was shown in the trial last year. You know, the staff rota chart. Well, it was a chart, related to a selection of events, of deaths and crashes, but only a selection. And that's the problem with it. And also all the other. Well, it's missing all the doctors. I mean, it's just. I can see that at this juncture, you've got to fight bad statistics or non-statistics or abused statistical so-called evidence with with robust and rigorous statistical evidence. You've got to fight it because they've misused that, and I always want to keep coming back to the fact that it should never have been used anyway. They shouldn't have been. The search for the truth shouldn't have been about who's on duty. It should never have been about that. It should have been looking into what were the problems at the unit. I wasn't going to mention anything about it in this little chat in the church. Chats in the church, that's a good title for something. I just started watching this little play that I was recommended to watch from a Facebook friend that is called Miss Pym's Day Out. It's about the novelist Barbara Pym. I think she was writing it over a number of decades, and I think it's set in the 70s. This is 1970s. But there's a good bit at the beginning where I haven't watched it all yet, but there's a really good actor playing the vicar in this church. There's only a handful of people listening, and his sermon's quite funny about that life is like an embroidery and some people don't put enough stitches in. And it's like, using an analogy of embroidery to life. Got to put more stitches in. But certainly, they weren't putting any stitches in terms of genuinely and sincerely trying to build up a picture about why those events happened across those 2 years, for each individual child, and for the pattern that they were seeing, and that just resonates out as cover-up, I think, and that's what the process has been. But not just that, it's sort of allied to scapegoating, of course, because in a sense, well, in the video of the other day with regard to the Substack, Dr. McLachlan's Substack, showing that there were other hospitals who had a similar rates of deaths, and on some occasions higher. I think it was the Sherwood Hospital. 1 year was 13 deaths. Blackpool was very high. But so there's 13 deaths in a comparable unit. But that both didn't become a news item itself, and it certainly didn't become a police investigation. It's all very bizarre, and the struggle now is to get the system, as it wants to protect itself, to show some honour if it's got any honour anywhere, or force it to if it hasn't got any honour, because it just can't resist it. Can't resist all this onslaught against this completely fabricated case against an innocent nurse, an innocent person. That's the best we can hope for, is that they just can't resist it anymore. They can't resist this without being shown to be behaving irrationally. I mean, they're behaving irrationally anyway. For the Third Wall inquiry not to have reappraised its parameters, reconsidered what it should actually be looking into, it is an irrational move to not do that. Because if their overall purpose is to find out what happened there and not let it happen again, they can't carry on with the bad seed of the miscarriage of justice, of the wrongful conviction. I know they state that, as far as they're concerned, this is the problem with so-called authority, because they just relate it back to the Court of Appeal have underlined it and said, yes, it's all above board, the convictions, there's nothing to be concerned about. But that's just an appeal to authority, another authority. And so they go blindly on, stumbling on from error to greater error, to compounding the error. They'd rather compound the error and protect the system than they would have the humility to say, well, despite what's happened, we can obviously see there are an extraordinary number of issues here to look at. And if our purpose is to reach the truth, albeit not in a court setting, but that's what we're being paid to do here, actually, in the Thirlwall inquiry, then we should be doing that honestly and sincerely. But that isn't what is happening, of course. It's a political event. Albeit things are coming out, and once they get those consultants there giving evidence to the inquiry, there'll be a lot more coming out. I know Dr. McLachlan's going through in detail the transcripts of the Thirlwall inquiry thus far, so that he'll be putting up more more substacks about that, I should imagine, and drawing further inferences and so forth, and as well as many other people, as are many other people on Twitter and elsewhere. I can't call it X, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I just call it Twitter. Can't really see in the picture here, but there's like a rainbow effect. Well, maybe not rainbow, there's colours splashed onto the plaster from the stained glass windows. About halfway up that further pillar. September is such a beautiful month. You can hear a bird there. Cars are going by outside. Yeah, that play, Miss Pym's Day Off, it's pretty good. I think it's about 40 minutes. I've only started watching it. It's got Patricia Routledge in it from Keeping Up Appearances. She's really good, isn't she? Good actress. I've not read any Barbara Pym, but I might check one out if I can find a book somewhere, maybe in the library. She was a writer that Philip Larkin liked as a novelist. I think he admired her writing about, I suppose, what you might have considered ordinary lives, struggles of ordinary people, and I'm assuming that's the case. I think that's what he said, is that he liked the kind of milieu that she was writing about, the world, the kind of people she was writing about. Oh, it's a lovely effect of light there. But I got a couple of things, a few presents I got from to give as a present from the whole food or health food shop there. So that's good. I had a really nice blue plate that I bought from a charity shop, I don't know, 18 months ago. I was just washing it up the other day, but I could feel it crack. It didn't crack fully in half, but I was just sort of wiping a sponge over it, and I could feel, oh God, it's gone. I really like that plate, but maybe I should have tried to glue it, but I haven't. I don't know. I've got to get another plate. Anyway, we'll see what happens as things move forward. It's all cliches, isn't it? As things move forward, yeah. Well, we can't stop them moving. Anyway, I think I'll end this little, whatever it is. I think I might do a little read through of the latest Telegraph videos on the brain. The latest Telegraph article a bit later, or maybe tomorrow, just to see if something else comes up through what's being said. Take care, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye, cheerio, bye-bye. Gonna stop at 15 minutes exactly.